All right, guys, welcome to another episode of On the Range Podcast. We're out here at Panteao Sportsman Club down in South Carolina. I've got my co-host, Mark Kelley. Mark, how you doing, buddy?
Doing well, pal.
And then we also have Fernando Coelho with Panteao Productions down here. So he's going to be our guest for, I think we're episode 10.
Episode 10.
There we go. So Fernando, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, good.
Awesome, man.
I'm actually enjoying watching the both of you on the same mic.
It's amazing.
I would rather see you guys like lean together, cuddle and...
Here's the thing. Obviously, for the viewers, you guys can see what's going on. But for the listeners, we're out here on a picnic table at the range. Just got done wrapping up a day one of two-day War HOGG pistol class. And, of course, with Fernando, we've got a rough crowd because the Panteao Productions that you guys see, that's the man behind who's running everything. We may let some trade secrets out of how we mark the ACAM. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see as we get going. But, again, super privileged to be out here. Fernando, appreciate you, being out here with us. So,
oh, that's great.
Yeah. So you just want to give us a quick little intro just for the listeners out there, viewers, just a little bit about you?
Sure. Been doing Panteao Productions now for 10 years, filming the firearms training videos, and then we expanded out to the documentaries and all the other stuff we filmed. Long before that, going back to other lifetimes, started in the ammo business, did that for 10 years, developed 2 lines of tactical clothing. One was part of the Freedom Group. After that, I went on to doing the instructional videos because I saw a need for training. And guys are starting to die off. The legends. So, once they're gone, they're gone. So I figured let's start documenting everybody and getting training out there to the masses. And that's why I did this.
Speaking of training, this facility you have here is amazing. And it's you can tell it's filling up, starting to get back into normal numbers again. Did you have to shut down at all? And what's the numbers look like now?
We were lucky. In the state of South Carolina, we were considered essential. So we were able to stay open. It did slow down, but for a different reason. It slowed down because no one had ammo, or they were hoarding ammo, or they would come to our pro shop and ask for ammo, but they wouldn't come here to shoot it. They would just come here to hoard it, right. And then as people started realizing, well, shit, I have 5,000 rounds of 9mm at home. I'm going to go out to the range and shoot. And then slowly it got back to more normal, and here it is today. It's a Saturday, and to me, it's actually slow, and we've had, 25 to 30 people on average here shooting at one time, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a great facility.
Thank you.
Great facility.
Yeah, and the beauty is for me, from the instructor standpoint, you guys have always been open, super hospitable down here, so it's like, hey, let's pick a date, put it on the calendar, roll out here at the multi-purpose bay.
Oh, jeez, yes. I'm going to rename this thing the Fallujah Bay. I swear to God. Yeah, it started as a 360 bay, okay, because we have berms at 360 degrees. And the whole reason for having berms 360 degrees is not for shooting. It was strictly for being able to set up our cameras, okay? We want to be able to track with the sun. We want to keep the instructor lit, minimize the amount of lights we need to use. And all of a sudden, we were accused of, how do I put this in simplest terms? We were accused that we were shooting in 360 degrees by neighbors. And it's like, no, we have target backers and we have a target frame in one place. And we put berms all the way around to film. And we had to get through that battle. So they wanted us to rename our bay from 360 degree bay to general purpose bay. So, but since we were called Fallujah at one point in a war zone, I thought, I like Fallujah. This is the Fallujah Bay.
Well, seeing what production, what it takes, the products that you guys put out are amazing. I've been watching them for a long time. T-Mac and then Rick, the productions are amazing. I can see what it takes to go into it, and your guys are top of the line. I don't see anything out there even coming close to the productions that you guys do.
I appreciate that. When I first got into this 10 years ago, we were in a transition period. Everyone had VHS tapes in the past. So what you filmed is what you got, essentially. And then after the VHS tapes, you had Clint Smith with the Thunder Ranch series. And I love Clint Smith. He does great stuff. And he's also a friend. The production value of his videos from back then really weren't to the standard of the Instructor. To me, I felt he's such a good instructor. Why is a production company not bringing it to the level of the Instructor? Right. And then on the flip side, there was Magpul Dynamics. They were putting some serious money into their production to the point where it's like you're putting way more than you need to be into what is really an instructional video. There's a area in between where you can put together a good team of a film crew and get a good quality instructor, and most importantly, convey the message to the viewer at home. Yeah. You know, because the biggest problem I've ever seen is, okay, you have a class, right? Let's say there's 15 students in the class, and the instructor is addressing the 15 students. Now, a film crew is filming that class, and that's going to be the instructional video. Well, now you're home watching this video, and you're watching what the instructor is doing, and you're listening to the instructor, but then you're also watching the students. Oh, look at that dude. Look at that rig he's wearing. Oh, look at the pistol he's running. Oh, look at that dude mess up his reload. Oh, I wonder if the instructor's going to see that. And all of a sudden, it's like a reality show where you're not learning anything from that video. To me, I believe it ought to be like the cooking shows or the workout videos from back in the day. It ought to be the instructor is addressing the viewer at home, showing the viewer, this is how you do a reload. This is how you do a proper grip. Here's your stance. Here's my drill, you know? So you can take your iPad or your phone, go to the range, and mimic it. At least try,
right? You
know? So there's certain ways to film, and we also, 10 years ago, it was 2 cameras, and don't get me wrong, we used the best cameras at the time available. We had some of the best camera guys available. They came out of the motion picture business and television business. Hell, some of my crew started on Miami Vice, a TV show. Then we realized 2 cameras ain't enough. Like literally in the first shoot, we realized 2 cameras ain't enough. We got to go to 3. Now we run 4. Sometimes we run 5. And it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, but the results is it's phenomenal. It really is. The good products.
Thank you.
You know, from my standpoint, and I mean, here's the thing. You know, for the listeners, viewers out there, I mean, you guys run a top-notch, you know, production crew. I've been on a couple different ones. You know, again, 4 cameras, pretty much unheard of. You know, 5, I mean, that's, you know, really kicking it out of the park. But really, the beauty is, and I think it's important for the viewers and listeners to understand, you don't really dictate anything.
No.
You're like, hey, man, you want to shoot a video? Sure. All right, what's your chapter outline? And you put all the burden, you know, I don't want to call it burden, but you put it, you know, really the instructional video on us. Mm-hmm. And I remember, you know, for both of the ones we've shot thus far, I mean, I think the concealed carry is just about 3 hours. You know, the practice to protect, a little over 3 hours. Mm-hmm. And that's not Fernando going, hey, man, I need 3 hours of content. That's like, right. Hey, dude, give me a chapter outline and then go out there and do your business. And really, that's the beauty, I think. You're not sitting there going, hey, shut up. Hey, you're over time. Let's go be done. Nope. It's like, hey, man, when I give you my closing, that's it. Boom. And, you know, that chapter's done, or if we need to do something else, you know. But totally, you know, from my standpoint, from the instructor side, working with you guys, totally top-notch. So very professional, you know, crews 100%. Sometimes we mark the A camera with special signals, you know, so that the quote-unquote talent knows where to look. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And we have to do that because, to be honest, sometimes I'll look at 2 cameras and go, fuck, which one?
Yeah. But we have, you know, here's the thing. We have fun. Yeah. And I mean, that's, at the end of the day, granted, I think you slapped up a little blooper there with me doing the, okay.
I'm sorry. No, it was there.
It was good. I wasn't prepared to basically have a graphic training aid, so I was using my finger, reference, point of aim, point of impact, you know, the old circle. Hey. And then
awesome.
What do we get? Caption this, you know? And
yes.
I think, what was the giveaway? A year?
Oh, it was a year subscription to our streaming service.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, so based off the comments, you know, threw the ball in my court, you know, we're sitting there chuckling and going, oh, good Lord, man. So
yeah. No, it's, and that, you're right. It comes down to the instructor. What does the instructor want to offer I mean, every instructor typically has a curriculum already. So they're going to come to the flat range, they're going to do 2 days, 3 days of training, and they have a course that they're going to follow. They know what they have to do because they have to get certain things done each day. Well, we're essentially taking that curriculum and saying, okay, give it to us in a chapter format, bulleted list, and now that's what we're going to do. And a lot of times the misconception is, well, it's a 2 or 3 day class, or hell, it's a 5 day class in some instances, and we're never going to get it done in 2 days. Dude, we don't have 15 students. We have one, the viewer at home. So you're not having to do the drill 15 times over and start showing corrections. You're going to show it one time. So I don't want to dictate to the instructor what they're going to do. I want to know what they're going to do. And then I want to be able to look at that chapter outline so I can figure out from a production standpoint, where am I going to set up my cameras? You know, and it does help that being a gun guy, not being a trigger puller, meaning wasn't a cop, wasn't in the military, but I've been in the gun industry. So I know the right end of the muzzle. I know how to run a gun. So I know the angles we have to use to convey the technique to the viewer at home. So there are times where, you know, we'll get with an instructor and the instructor wants to convey something and I'll go, okay, gotcha. I'll set up the cameras, show the instructor, and like, yep, we're spot on. Or no, let's adjust accordingly. And it's fun. I mean, honestly, the ongoing joke with us is when I'm on the flat range filming, this is my vacation time. Because the pre-production, that sucks. The post-production, the editing, that really sucks.
Oh, yeah.
The on the range, that's the fun times.
Yeah.
You know, because then we get to fuck with you. You know, and get away with it because we have cameras rolling.
Oh, yeah. Lord only knows what the blooper reel is going to look like, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, we get some good bloopers. We actually have some bloopers we just can't put out there.
Well, yeah. No,
but they're good.
Yeah.
They're good.
But, you know, on that, you know, and here's the thing. Yeah, you know, we've all got curriculums we follow. But here's the beauty, like with the concealed carry. Typically, I may address verbally, you know, the vehicle stuff, really not bringing my vehicle out, doing all that other stuff. And really, like for that one, hey, I can park the vehicle there. You know, you guys are filming. So there's ways to convey content that normally doesn't get conveyed to the student on the DVD, streaming, or digital, you know, download format that now, hey, that's added bonus, if you want to say, that typically you're not getting from the class. So, you know, and like for me, I try to recommend to the students, hey, go watch the DVD beforehand, whether you get the DVD, whether you get the streaming, digital download, whatever. Right. At least have an idea. So that now when they come out, all right, so for example, the War HOGG self-eval. If you guys have got the DVD, digital download or streaming, you've seen it, and it's not a surprise. Yeah. But, you know, it's still trying to convey that message, hey, guys, and use that as a training tool that, okay, hey, you're done the class. Some guys take notes, some guys don't. Hey, what was that? I forget. And now you've got basically a digital reference that you can go back to, and it works out perfect. So,
I think a video is ideal because I've taken enough classes in my 27 years in the gun industry where I'm the first to admit I'll go take a 2-day class, I'll go home, I'm back into the grind. A month or two later, half that shit may be gone out of my brain. I mean, it's just going to happen. You know, how quickly are you going to get back on the range and start practicing those drills? Well, how busy are you in life? Yeah. You know, so a video allows you to spool up before you take a class, kind of like get dialed in a little bit. Is there something specific that instructor is going to push? First time I saw a push-pull on a magazine on an M4, you know, was from an instructor showing me on the flat range. And I wish I had seen that on a video first. Yeah. I would then at least unfuck myself before I got to the range, you know. Yeah. Then you take a class, you go home, pop that video in, or go to your streaming subscription and watch that video and go, you know, I forgot about that. Crap, you know. Or that drill. What exactly was that drill I'm supposed to do? How many rounds? At what distance? And what's a good time? Let me go look at that video again. Because, I mean, don't get me wrong. Take notes in the class. That's great. But a video does so much more.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know, Rick and I talk about all the time, jotting down notes and tracking your progress and that kind of thing. But look how valuable that thing that's in your pocket. You can just draw up that drill. Like you said, well, how many rounds was it? What was the target look like? How was it set up? And boom, you got it right there on the range with you. It's amazing. Now, the impact that the digital and the streaming, has that been huge for the products like Rick's? Is that just flying through mail, or is it coming through the streams?
It's weird. 10 years ago, it was 80% DVDs.
Right.
It was just DVD was king. And today, and we have a lot of younger people in the industry, and they'll always say to me, well, DVDs, I don't even have a DVD player anymore. And I'll go, oh, really? When you're home with your wife on weekends and you got nothing else to do you ever go to Redbox? Oh, yeah. Oh, so you got a DVD. And they just look at you. So do you have an Xbox, or do you have anything else that plays that little disc thing that you could watch that movie on? Because you know what? That's the same thing as our DVD. So I've gone through that hurdle. But I also understand. When we first started this, it was DVDs and streaming. So I would say 80% DVDs, 20% streaming. 10 years ago, internet in your home was 5 megs down, 8 megs down. I mean, you're not going to stream shit. You're going to buffer. Right. Today, 25 megs down is the norm. People have 100, 200, 500. Mm-hmm. Now you're able to stream 4K. So early on, we started with the Roku channel, then the Amazon Fire TV channel, then the Apple TV channel, then the 2 mobile apps. And we understood from the get-go, you have to do it streaming. I mean, hell, in 2015, we were filming in 1080 and switched to 4K. My crew thought I was crazy. My editor thought I was dumb because he's like, dude, we have to get rid of our computers now because they can't handle 4K. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to do it. And here we are in 2020, and we're filming in 4K, and hell, we're recording in 6K with some of our cameras because you have to stay with technology. Mm-hmm. Technology is going to continue to progress. And I'll be honest, when you're filming, that 4K or 6K gives you a lot more flexibility in post, and it looks better. Yeah. And again, why put out shit? If someone's going to go pay anywhere from $450 to $700 for a class, okay, and they're going to spend thousands of dollars on a carbine, and they're going to spend thousands of dollars on pistols and then ammo. I'm going to put together a piece of crap video. Hell, let me just run with an iPhone then and just film an instructor. Let's just do YouTube videos then. No, I believe in let's put together the best production possible. Let's represent the instructor in the best light possible. I'll admit, and sometimes instructors are really, really good on camera. Sometimes instructors are really, really good in a class environment, but then when you put them on a camera, they don't know how to talk to a camera. But, when we're filming with 3 or 4 cameras, I can fix that in post. It's not the instructor's fault. It's just not what they do. Right. All of a sudden now, we're showing them, after editing the video, the way they would be in a class. So I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish. And now it's funny. Today, almost everything is streaming. I mean, yeah, we still get requests for DVDs. We still have manufacturers buying boatloads of DVDs to include with firearms or to give away at trade shows. We've had a lot of success with that. I mean, you buy a handgun. Do you ever read the owner's manual? I mean, I never crack it open. It'll be like in like museum condition 20 years from now. So you put a DVD in there with a gun, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, let me check this out. Oh, wow, now you have 2 hours or 3 hours of content on that firearm. Now you have no excuse not to be able to take it apart and put it back together right, the way the manufacturer wanted you to. Not some millennial knucklehead on YouTube who's trying to show you how to take his Glock apart.
But, with those owner's manuals, there's also, some instruction in there as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it's not just, let's face it. Look what just happened with this whole COVID-19 thing. More firearm sales in the last couple of months than in the last couple of elections combined. All right? All these brand new gun owners, not guys hoarding guns, but new people getting into the gun game, okay? Because they're afraid. So they buy whatever it is. They buy a shotgun, a long gun, they buy a carbine, they buy a handgun. They may buy some ammo. They may even, buy a spare mag. And if it's a handgun, they may even get a holster. Imagine that. Are they going to learn how to use it? Or are they just going to shove it in a drawer somewhere? Odds are they're not going to get the trigger time that they need. So at least with like a video owner's manual like we've started doing, you're taking the basic fundamentals of that firearm, addressing them in a video. You could sit there with your spouse and learn how this thing works. Take the mystery out of it, And then go, oh, wow, that's proper grip. You're still sitting at home. Here's my grip. Here's my stance. Oh, I could dry fire. Oh, wait, I could actually do all these drills minus the live fire at home. And then you go to the range, and now you actually are set up for success with your brand new firearm that you can now run at least comfortably. You may not be great at it. That's what practice is for. But at least we're getting you set up for that success. And being able to work with you on this kind of stuff is great because it's all about these new shooters. Don't get me wrong. I don't know, 55, 60 instructors we've filmed so far, hundreds of videos. If I count the chapters, I think we're up to like 7,000 chapters now in all our videos. But I'm the first to admit, everyone loves the high-speed, low-drag stuff. Let's fast rope. Let's run a carbine. I want to do shoot house. I want to breach a door, or I want to watch these guys on a video breach a door. Okay, that's fun. It's like watching, SWAT or Hawaii Five-0 or watching your favorite movie. All right, you get to live that, comfort of your iPad. But let's talk reality here. You just bought a firearm. You don't know how to run it. You don't know how to draw it from a holster. You don't know what to do with it once it malfunctions, because it will eventually malfunction. So what's the most important to any shooter? The fundamentals. What's the most boring thing out there? The fundamentals. But I always, and I'm guilty of it because we started filming videos and we started with like the high speed, low drag stuff, and that's what grabs the viewers to come to you. You want to watch Pat Mack do something with a carbine or watch you run a drill. We start getting into advanced stuff. That looks great. But really, we have to be showing these new shooters and existing shooters that don't shoot enough, what are the fundamentals? Let's work on those fundamentals. Because if we get just those fundamentals down, we have a lot of good shooters, that could actually, if the time comes where they have to defend themselves, not only are they going to be able to handle facing a bad guy, while they have a gun on them, they're actually going to be able to swipe that garment out of the way, clear that Kydex holster or that leather holster. They're going to be able to engage the bad guy, and the bad guy is going to be the one down hurt, and the good guy is going to be successful. That's all that matters.
Yeah, the key to that, you hit the nail on the head there, Fernando, because too many people overlook the fundamentals. And I look at it this way. If you're going to build a house, if you get a crap foundation, what's going to happen with your house?
Yeah.
It's going to fall apart.
Yeah.
So the fundamentals, that is your foundation. So if that's solid, then if you want to say, hey, if you want to do your high-speed stuff, or to me, it's just continuing to advance your skills, and that's the problem is too many people out there, there's no tangibles, there's no takeaways. So they're going to go out there, shoot a bunch of bullets. Okay, cool. How are you scoring it? What's your time? How do you get your marks to go, man, that reload was horrible, or I fumbled that, or, okay, cool, I've got an IPSC target and they're all in the D. You've got to have something where I run a drill, it's tangible, it's repeatable, and I can score it to go, yep, now let me sit there and go, how do I improve? And I think that's the thing, because I know in both the practice to protect and the concealed carry, I harp on dry fire.
Absolutely.
And enough people don't understand the whole dry fire concept. Don't get me wrong. Come out to the range, let's shoot some bullets. But it's that firearms manipulation back at the house that's going to get everything worked out. So now when we come here, because we know ammo is going to cost more, because we've seen the spike because of the pandemic. Ammo costs are up. I heard it today, some of the numbers these guys are talking in different places, or I can only get so much.
It's crazy.
One guy was telling me, hey, I was able to buy stuff at bulk at one time. Now I'm down to 500. Now I can only get 200 rounds per shot. So now, even for a guy to come to a class, if he hasn't planned it out, sorry, I don't have 1,000 rounds sitting around. I can't make it. And that's, the biggest thing I hear is, number one, I can't afford the ammo, or number two, I can't get the ammo.
Right.
And, from the industry side, it's like, come on, guys. I got it. We're going to, best country in the world, capitalists are going to make their money. Cool. However, make your money on your volume. Because when you talk to the ammo manufacturers, it's not them increasing the price. It's when it gets down to the distributors. Hey, guys, you'll make your money. And if you're listening, yes, War HOGG Tactical says, bring your prices down.
Yeah.
Trust me, your volume, you'll make your money. And let's get it out there. So.
No, I agree. Training is so important. The basic stuff is so important. If we had it our way in the gun industry, people would be out there every week, at least once a week, at the very least putting a mag or two through their gun. At least. But then the reality is some people may not put rounds to their gun in a year, once a year.
Well, it never fails that the experts are the ones who have mastery of the basics. And every day you have someone, well, what do you do when you're on the range? Hey, this is it, buddy. This is it. This is what we do.
Yeah.
And you can beat it into them. Eventually they get it. But that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem we run into all the time. They like the whiz-bang stuff, not the stuff that Rick was doing today with his students. And that's where you make your money right there.
Yeah, that's true.
Culminate the day one, War HOGG pistol, bring these guys back to 50, getting shots on a C-zone steel. Man, I mean, you sit there and go, other guys out there, man, just the mere thought of going to 50. Well, I can't make that shot. Really? Why can't you? Because, for me, when I start, we shoot on 3-inch dots. And people go, why do you use 3-inch dots? Well, if you look at the 3-inch dot, nice small target. If I'm screwing things up, it's obviously evident. We can start addressing that. And, oh, by the way, when I come back to 10, that dot size is about the same thing as a B8 bull back at 25. So now we go from 10 to 25, and again, it's that mental mind screw where guys go, 25, I can't shoot that far. Dude, you're hitting, 3-inch bulls at 10, apply the same fundamentals, and when you kind of get them over the mental hurdle, boom. And just like here, finishing up, just walking back. I think we started at 15, kind of did some 5-meter increments in there. I think we took 110. I think we went from 25 to 35 just to go, hey, let's take a jump back. And they're all like, it's like, all right, guys, get on your sights, be clean on your trigger, and then bing. And all of a sudden, eyes open up. It's like, it's the fundamentals, guys.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And then we get back all the way to 50, and they're rocking that thing. And again, walking out of here day one, positive note, 50-yard hits on C-zone steel. Man, check the block for a good positive, foundation building day. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
When did you buy this piece of property?
I actually started filming here in 2015. And from 2010 to 2015, I was driving to Florida. It was easier in my thought process. It was easier to drive myself with all the camera gear to Florida where I had all my film crew and then bring the instructor to Florida. And that way it was economics. It was just easier. And that's how I did it. So it was literally drive 9 hours down to Florida to Weston, right outside of Fort Lauderdale, film for 4 days. And we actually used to go to this property at the middle of the Everglades the area is called Big Cypress. It was a privately owned property that you had to drive down Alligator Alley, I-75. That's cool. Yeah. Get off at Snake Road at the Miccosukee gas station, meet the crew there. And so we would leave at like 6:30 in the morning, rendezvous at the gas station, and then caravan out from the gas station. By the time we were ready to film, it was like 9 o'clock in the morning. We were dragging ass already. And then we would do that for 4 days. And then I'd drive back home about 2 weeks later, go back to Florida, do it again. And for 5 years, I did that. Wow. It was painful. Then I found a range that existed 2 miles from my house. And I'm like, this can't be real. This can't be a range. I drove out and I saw it, and it had a 600-yard rifle bay. It had some handgun bays. It needed a lot of work, but I thought the bones are there. The fundamental layout is there. I can start it. I can work with this. So I entered into a lease purchase agreement in 2015. Started throwing money at the place, improving the berms, making it so that it would look good on camera. And in December 2018, I completed the purchase of it, and haven't looked back. I mean, we just continue throwing money at this place, primarily for filming purposes. But then secondary is the gun club we started here, because we figured, well, having everything that we have, and you hear shooting going on right now, heck, we got over 400 members, and in a year we've had I think in the past year we've had 1,200 day passes, people just wanting to come out and shoot for the day. Wow. And then we offer free training for law enforcement, so local sheriff's departments, FBI, many municipalities come out here for free training, free use of the facility. So it's about giving back at the same time. but it is so much easier to be able to roll 2 miles. From the hotel, it's about, what, 20 minutes from here?
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes.
15, 20 minutes. Not an hour and a half, 2 hours, you know.
Down
Alligator
alligator.
Road.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Alligator alley. Oh,
Yeah.
I lost me a wheel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my old trailer, that was normal. I would lose wheels. Or the alligators. I mean, there's a reason why we have a concrete alligator at our main gate.
Yeah, they don't call it Alligator Alley because they have a rodent problem.
No.
Yes. There was this 13-footer that used to hang out on the property, and there was a whole bunch of 4 to 6 footers. And, you know, me being a New Yorker, never seeing an alligator, living in South Carolina, going to Florida, like, the fuck is that? Holy shit, that's big. That was like the first time. You know, after a year of filming, it's like, I'm standing right next to a gator because it just, you don't care. You know, they don't mess with you, you don't mess with them, all's good. So once we started filming here, it just helped us with economics of scale. It helped us being able to film more during the day. Everything was more in control. Everyone's closer. Also, you go out and film for 4 days, and you're going out to eat every night at a restaurant, and you know there's only so many times you're going to go have that meal at that restaurant.
Right.
You know, at least here we film, we go home, we have a cooked meal. You know, we hang out in the backyard, have cigars and some bourbon, and then we're ready to film the next day again. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's fun. It's like a big family. The crew is like a big family. We treat the instructors like family because it's how it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. I mean, 100%. Doors always open. I mean, I remember, I think the first time rolling over to the house, you know, courtesy knocking the door. What are you doing knocking? It's like, come on in.
Yeah.
I at least wipe my paws because that's what the little, you know, Matt tells me to do. Lucy, I'm home.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah. So, no, phenomenal hospitality.
No, we enjoy it. Yeah. We enjoy it.
So what do you and Panteao, both the Sportsman Club and Productions, kind of have in the future? Anything, any big plans, anything brewing?
I would love to open a strip club here and call it the Bada Bing. You know, kind of like homage to The Sopranos.
Real class.
Yes.
Some real class.
I really think that would do well here. I mean, we are in Swansea, South Carolina, known for meth and moonshine, and I think I'll step it up by opening up a place like a strip club. No, maybe. I don't know. I really do like the ring of that. What I want to be able to continue to do is expand our facility, include a shoot house, which is what we're needing. Mm-hmm. Additional bays that are already pre-staged for courses of fire that make it easier for us to film. Have areas where we can just do stand-up talking. Just areas that have a certain look that we can just put the cameras in certain pre-marked locations and we're ready to go. Just make it more smooth and efficient so we know, hey, we're going to be filming a pistol video. Let's go do this on this particular section. We're going to be doing shoot house type stuff. Well, we have a shoot house for that. But the goal is continue to crank out. I guess crank out's the wrong term. Continue to produce videos. Guys on YouTube crank out content. They're trying to stay up there in front of people every day, every week. They're putting crap out there because they're trying to keep those hits and the views and make that little bit of money that they're going to make from YouTube. For us, it's about the quality, but it's about continuing to produce content that makes sense for the viewer at home. And, 10 years of doing this, about 2 years in, someone said to me in the gun industry, Fernando, how long can you last doing pistol videos and carbine videos? And I said, dude, watch me. Because just because I've done a pistol video with 3 different instructors and I've done carbine videos with 4 different instructors, I know that is not it for training. Everyone has a different way of doing things. Granted, we all have 2 arms and 2 legs when it comes to how we're going to handle a firearm and how we're going to handle ourselves in the range, typically, until we sprout a 3rd arm or a 3rd leg, maybe then things are going to change. But that said, sometimes a viewer will be watching one instructor and they don't connect with that instructor for whatever reason, but they watch a different instructor and for whatever reason they'll connect with that guy and they'll go, I get it. And to me, that's what matters, is that they get it. And our ongoing joke has been, we're little Switzerland. We are neutral. I am not here to say when you're running a carbine, you have muzzle up for reload is bad or muzzle down is the way to go. I don't care. We're not here to dictate anything. We're going to take what the instructor says, and if that instructor's background is law enforcement, or he's a former Marine, or recon, he's a Ranger, or SF, or unit guy, they're all going to have their own way of doing things. And then if you really want to get into the details, you have some guys that are pre-9/11, other guys that are post-9/11, that have been involved in this global war on terror, and what they learned in combat is different than what some of our guys learned 20, 30 years ago. So there's always an education process. And I can probably take a video that we've done with an instructor 8 years ago and say, all right, dude, let's do that again. The exact same thing.
Yeah.
And there's going to be different stuff now done. So we're always learning. So...
Yeah, and the beauty is, like I said, we hit on this before, you don't dictate anything.
No.
Really, we sit down, we go, from the instructor standpoint, you kind of learn some verbiage as you do this. Hey, what's our talking points? Mm-hmm. So, and again, when you understand that, it just makes it easy to go, as I'm doing my chapter outline, here's my talking points. I already got those allocated, okay? Here's things that I'm going to do, dry or demonstrate, whatever. Here's my live fire stuff. Oh, by the way, for this particular drill, for example, if I'm going to do draw from the holster, well, I need the cameras on... the right side of me because I'm a right-handed shooter. Doing a mag change, maybe I want them on the left so they can kind of see the action of, the mag going in there. So it's just, once you kind of do this a little bit, you understand, and it helps you to go, hey, chapter outline, I need camera right, camera left.
Yeah.
Here's all the nuances. Here's my talking points. And then really you're like, set it up. All right, we run through the list. All right, we're doing.
Yeah.
And then boom, it's done. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
And the only other times we've actually had any feedback or comments to an instructor as to what we should be doing is really predicated on not what we want, but more predicated on what the viewers want. Mm-hmm. There are times we'll have someone say to us, hey, I want to see more vehicle stuff, or I want to see more home defense stuff, or fill in the blank. They have a demand. They have a request. They want to see something. And I'll weigh that, and I'll go, all right, you want to see a guy fast rope out of a helicopter to go land on the back of a hog and stab it with a knife? Nah, it's not really a video I want to do right now because I don't see the merit here, But all seriousness, when someone says, hey, I really want to see another home defense video, I want to see an active shooter video or whatever, then I'll take that, I'll weigh that, and I'll go, yeah, you know what? Let me look at my library, and you're right, it is time to do another one of those. And then I'll look at the instructors and go, okay, we may have an instructor that his forte is armor training or gunsmithing. I'm not going to go to the gunsmith and talk about that. I may have a firearms instructor that is a competitive shooter that is great in the competitive shooting world, whether it's 3-gun, IDPA, USPSA, Bianchi Cub, whatever. That may not be the guy that's going to do the active shooter video. But I may have a former unit guy or SF guy that's right, that's his cup of tea. This is what they trained for. I mean, just because someone's a former police officer, I have to look at what their background is in relationship to the content we want to do. So there are times where I'll have content, and I have to weigh which instructor do I want to approach to do this. And then there's other times I have instructors that will just come to me and say, this is what I teach already, and that makes life easier for me. It's already vetted. And that's the other thing, too. I can't stress enough. When you go to YouTube and you go on Instagram and Facebook, it's like the forums back in the day. Back in the day, you could hide behind a screen name on a forum. You don't know who that Twinkie is that you're talking to on the internet. But now you have YouTube. So you may have a video on YouTube, okay? And Pat Mack has videos on YouTube, and many of our instructors have videos on YouTube. Right next to some dingleberry with some funny name that has 500,000 followers, that has no formal background, never served, never was on the job, wasn't a competitive shooter, but he's a professional student. He takes classes from everybody, and he can mirror that and mimic it. And now he's going to tell you about attack reload and the best time to engage somebody, or when you should do a reload with your carbine. And it's like, really, dude? So you're a good assistant or adjunct instructor, but I don't want to go to that guy to tell me when I should be doing something in a firefight when he's never been in a firefight,
right?
Or Just because he's got 500,000 followers doesn't mean the fucking guy is right. It just means he's an entertainer. You know, people think his stuff is fun to watch. But then they also forget Instagram and Facebook and YouTube is free. Yeah, I'll be guilty of laying in bed at night when I can't sleep, and I'll go over to YouTube or Facebook and watch some funny shit and close my eyes, and I already forgot about it. And it may be a gun guy. And I'll see him do a really funny, cool drill. Oh, that was funny. Holy shit. Good night. You know, next day, I won't even think twice about that dude. Yeah. And then you'll get that time where you have a student in the class, and he'll show up and pull you aside and go, hey, have you seen whatever his name is? Yeah, he's got like 1 million followers on YouTube. You got to do a video with him. And I'll go, on what? How to get 1 million followers? Well, no, because he's really high speed. At what? Getting followers? Yeah. Nah, that's all right. Let me stick to the vetted instructors. And I'm fortunate because the cadre we have of instructors now. Most of the instructors we meet are brought to us by other instructors. So I already know that dude's squared away. Yeah. You know, if I have Pat Mack introduce somebody to me, or if I have you introduce someone to me, or Jamie Caldwell introduces someone to me. I mean, Tony Blauer, how I was introduced with Tony, a good example was I'm laying in bed again one night and I get a text message from Pat Mack. And he's like, I got a dude for you. Here's his name. Oh, I don't need anything else. If he already said this guy's squared away, when can we film him?
Yeah, that's how we got hooked up.
Exactly.
You know, Pat Mack, basically said, hey, reach out to Fernando, because I was trying to sit there and go, my struggle was initially trying to figure out ranges to go to. Mm-hmm. And, the problem is you try to do a cold call to these places. Hey, do you allow instructors in there? Some are yes, some are no. Some are like, sure, at $1,000 a day. You're like, guy, you're killing me.
Yeah.
And I think it was Pat did the intro.
Yep.
Boom. And then next thing you know, out here, running classes out here, shooting, videos and stuff. And it's like, yeah, man.
Yeah. So, I don't have to then worry about, is this guy legit or not?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then I can still have the control over what we're going to film, what kind of topics we think are worth covering. But in most instances, if you say to me, let's film this, I'll go, okay, yeah, let's do it.
So what's kind of, give the viewer, listener out there just a life lesson takeaway from Fernando's standpoint?
Oh, shit. I have to go back to the fundamentals because this goes back to when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. Living in New York, my father had just got a carry permit. The first thing he bought was a Smith & Wesson Model 66 .57 Magnum 2.5-inch barrel revolver. Not exactly what you would think would be a carry firearm. And he bought 125 grain semi-jacket hollow point, .357 Magnum loads, a box. And we took it out once in the woods. He shot a cylinder full. That was it. He was carrying that thing afterwards. And as a kid, I thought, okay, that's the norm. And then I turn 18, and I got a 1911. It was that. And then, yes, some people are wondering how the hell at 18 you get a carry permit and get a gun. In New York State at the time, mm-hmm. going back in the day, at 18, you can get a carry permit. Just your parent had to go in with you to get mm-hmm. the damn gun. So I got a used Series 80 stainless steel 1911, and I started shooting it and shooting it and shooting it and realizing, wow, my father had no practice and no training. And then I'm in the gun industry, and now I'm learning from instructors because one benefit of the gun industry is you get classes for free. And all of a sudden now it's really weighing on me that my father really never had the training. So God forbid if he ever really needed to use that revolver, what if it gets taken away from him? Because he really doesn't know what to do with it. I mean, can he shoot it? Well, yeah, it's a revolver, but full house Magnum loads in a 2.5-inch barrel. Yeah. That always stuck with me. So when I got into the ammo business and I started doing training and taking classes, to me it was always about bettering your skills. So here we are, 10 years of doing videos, and I still think about that. It still comes down to people need to learn the fundamentals, and I have to do a better job of getting out there and getting people learning the fundamentals. And yeah, it's not fun to watch. It's not fun video. It's not cool, you know. We're not shooting watermelons and watching stuff explode. No tannerite in our videos, you know. But that's what's going to save your life. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's all that matters. Yeah. We're not making entertainment. If I want to do entertainment, we'll have the bada bing, and I'll film that. We'll have a lot of fun. That's entertainment. Yeah, that's entertainment. Heck, yeah, that's when we start Panteao Productions. That's our other division. But until I start Panteao Productions, the most important thing to me is, can I educate the viewer at home so that that firearm they own becomes a usable tool and not a detriment?
Yep.
And that, to me, is all that matters. That's the only reason why I honestly do what I do. Whether I make money in this or not, to me, honestly, isn't that important.
Well, I think all the products you put out had a serious baseline on safety and fundamentals, and I think your contribution to the industry has been vast. It really
thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate the products and what you've done for Rick's products. They're just amazing. So I really wanted to say thank you. And that, not only that, allowing law enforcement and military guys to come out here and use your facility, it's unbelievable.
Well, it's the right thing to do, you know, especially nowadays with all this nonsense over Blue Lives Matter. Oh my God, dare you say Blue Lives Matter on social media? You'll be unfollowed by 1,000 people immediately. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. You know. So no, there's those same people that when the shit hits the fan, you're on the phone dialing 911. You know. And they're the ones that are going to show up. That, guess what? They need the training just like you do. Yeah. You know, and a lot of times, I mean, look where we are today. We're at a time in our country where municipalities are facing their budgets being cut. Mm-hmm. Why? Because they're cops. Mm-hmm. Before all this drama and nonsense started, their budgets needed to be increased. Because I see it all the time. Cops come to take free classes we offer. All right. And I'll have officers say, I'm sorry, I can't take the free class. And I'm like, oh, you busy with your family? He's like, oh, no, I can't get the ammo. I can't get it from the department. They can't allocate it. I only have enough for requal. Well, shit. Come on out anyway. We'll take care of the ammo. Because you're not going to train because your department doesn't have the budget for the ammo. And now you have all these snowflake Twinkie folks out there saying, oh, let's defund the law enforcement. Really? Mm-hmm. Okay. Maybe some of these folks need to get out of the United States, go into these other countries. Now, I'm not saying let's go to third world nations. Just go to Europe. Go to other places where you don't have so much control, where you don't have a firearm to defend yourself, and you're relying on the local LEO, and you have bad guys out there with guns, mm-hmm. and how unsafe you really are, you know. And let's rethink what we are doing with law enforcement today. They need more training.
In many of those countries, their LEOs do not have firearms either.
Absolutely. They're no different than
people forget that.
Yes. I mean, they may have vast numbers of guys together in a uniform with billy clubs, you know. But until their tactical team comes in, you know, hot and heavy to take care of business, a lot of people already have been injured or died. So it's a state of affairs we're in right now that is pretty sad, that we even have to have a debate over a budget for law enforcement. It should be, how are we going to find them more money? Mm-hmm. Not how are we going to cut out millions and spank them, you know? Yeah. So what happens when we do really need them, you know, and then they can't help us? So.
And that, I mean, unfortunately, that's the road that things are going down. You know, so now it's like you have to basically be your own self-defense, self-protection.
Yes.
Because nothing's out there.
Yeah.
You know, or, you know, you're looking at departments nowadays, they're not even, you know, some departments are just dwindling away.
Yeah.
Because guys are like, I can't deal with this anymore, and they're taking off. Yeah. So those numbers are getting, you know, less and less, and it's that drive to go, hey, if you are a new firearms owner, you better get some training. Yeah. Because I think for us, just as a country, we're so, you know, guns are so much part of our history, and people just think, oh, I can just grab it and go. Or I've shot my rifle all my life. I can get a pistol. What's the difference? But then they never really go out, or they're happy with their mediocre shooting they're doing. And they're like, okay, you know, good enough for me. Sitting there going, all right, hey, I'm at the Walmart parking lot 9:30 at night, lights are low, and now bad things are happening. Can you defend yourself? Can you put your rounds on target? Oh, by the way, because I don't want rounds just zinging. I clip grandma that's 3 cars down.
Yeah.
Now I'm the liability out there. It's like, hey, if there is an encounter, deadly force is required, I've got to put those rounds on target. And oh, by the way, I've said it before, and I've had officers look at me like I was a child rapist when I go, the body is an acceptable bullet trap. And they're like, huh?
Yeah.
How can you say that? Well, because I've shot people, and bullets typically do not go through the body. It's an acceptable bullet trap. If it's you or me, rounds are going in there. And trust me, running a good quality, self-defense round, it's stopping in there. And you're coming from the ammo industry, and I know you've done all your testing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The days of this over-penetration, myths, rumors, whatever, you put good center mass hits. Because think about it. If I'm putting something in the sternum, I'm going through bone, I'm going through everything else. Trust me, those velocities are slowing way down, but I need enough ability to punch whatever's back there, whether I've got the heart, lungs, I may or may not get to the spine. Mm-hmm. But guys need to understand, this is okay. And my LEOs, man, I love them to death, but golly, when I tell them that, they just look at me like, I'm like, guys, you haven't thought about this? I understand four rules of firearm safety, right? Identify your target, what's in line with it, what's behind it. Yeah, you want to know what's behind it, because unfortunately, sometimes your training isn't there. Things get hyped and bullets go zinging.
Yeah.
All's well, you've got your training under your belt. Boom, I'm putting them all right here. Trust me, man, we're good to go. Threat's no longer, and you're going home at night. So,
well, when it comes to the firearms training, especially in the civilian sector, you give somebody a gun. A good analogy is take someone that's never driven a car before, mm-hmm. and say, okay, I got this 500 horsepower Porsche stick shift, and we live where there's hills like San Francisco. Mm-hmm. Here are the keys. Go park it somewhere and get up and down that hill. And now you're dealing with a clutch, and you're going to hold this car on a hill, and it's stick shift. And good luck. How are they going to do?
Well, that's your millennial anti-theft device right there. Yeah. I mean, I mean, you can't, if you have one, good for you, because nobody's taking that thing.
Ain't that the truth?
They're going to be like, the truth. What is that craziness?
Yeah. And it's really, this is sad state of affairs where just because you watch something on TV, that all of a sudden you think you're going to be Dirty Harry. Or nowadays no one even knows who the hell Dirty Harry is. Whoever the latest, greatest high-speed, low-drag rock star in television is, or movies, all of a sudden people think, oh, I could be John Wick. Really? You really think that, huh? You may be able to dress like him and go buy that Terran Tactical Precious Glock. Ooh, did I go there? Anyway, but in reality, until you try to put rounds downrange, and put them within, say, a 3-inch circle, mm-hmm. and forget 25 yards. Heck, put somebody 5 yards away, and they're not going to be in that circle. Yeah. And the reality is, people need to train. They need to understand how that firearm works, and then from there, practice, dry fire the shit out of it, mm-hmm. airsoft like you and I did with that one video. I mean, a year or two ago, I would have been like, airsoft? Oh, that's what the kids do. Mm-hmm. Oh, hell no.
Yeah. I was the same boat. I mean, we had this conversation. If it wasn't for actually EVIC and that gunpowder target I shot at their booth this year at SHOT.
Yep.
And you'd say, hey, let's do an airsoft video. I'm like, really, Fernando?
Yeah.
Come on, man. But when you put that target there, and then you start looking at, man, this thing feels just like, a regular firearm. Hey, I can pretty much do my same manipulations. Granted, I can't do my War HOGG check like I want to.
Right.
There's some artificialities built in just from the design of the airsoft. Mm. But man, think about it now. Ammo's expensive. I get 5,000 BBs, $20, either green gas, CO2. I can go in the garage, backyard, wherever, and I'm out at least still getting some training in. Man, that's a win-win across the board. So that one there, I mean, if guys haven't seen it, practice to protect, using airsoft. We touched on just, again, short time covering both, carbine and pistol.
Right.
But yeah, man, definitely a tool this day and age. If I were a firearm owner or a first-time firearms owner, I would say, hey, what firearm did I buy? And I would find that airsoft, equivalent, pick that up as well. to, again, yep, I'm doing my dry fire stuff, but now I can actually do some trigger manipulation, projectile coming out inside my house, low cost, win-win across the board.
It was weird because you were at SHOT Show and you were doing the target experience. Mm-hmm. I was talking with the folks at Umarex about this practice to protect program that they had developed, and the light bulb went off in my head. Wow. You can now practice in your home or in your backyard, inexpensively, with a firearm that is almost identical to your real firearm. And in some cases, you can't tell them apart. Mm-hmm. And now you can actually get all the fundamentals down. Granted, you're not going to have the same level of recoil, but that to me, it's irrelevant. Mm-hmm. You're getting the fundamentals down. You're getting. You could be doing not just dry firing now. Now you're doing this practice with this working airsoft, and practice to protect. That name just sunk in. Like, wow, shit. Why didn't I think of this 10 years ago? And today the technology of these airsoft pistols and carbines is such that they're like the real thing. Well, within reason. I mean, some little quirks of magazines and so forth, but still, for all purposes, dare I say it, every person that buys a handgun ought to be buying a handgun and the airsoft equivalent of it at the same time, so they can practice on the airsoft even before they pick up the real gun. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's not to pitch airsoft like that, but in reality, we should be practicing like that. Yeah.
But I would pitch it that way because that's how we did in the video. And like I said, I was the same as you. Airsoft, that's kids running around out in the woods shooting each other.
Yeah.
But then again, when you get that experience, and that's where the point comes in to go from the instructor standpoint, bing.
Yeah.
I've got a tool that I can use anytime.
Absolutely.
I don't need the range. I don't need good weather. I don't need anything. And then I stuck some stuff on Instagram. I don't know if I put anything on YouTube. Hey man, here's me in the garage training with my airsoft tools. We did the instructional video.
Yeah.
Went into a lot more depth in there.
Jeez. It was about 3 hours long.
That was over 3 hours.
And Umarex actually put it on their website in full. Mm-hmm. So if you go to the Practice to Protect page on their website, there's your full-length instructional video on there for people to be able to watch. Yeah. I mean, people ought to be flocking to that thing to watch the video and then buying airsoft and practicing. Yeah. And then coming to your class, and that's what people need to do. They need to practice. They need to forget about the high-speed, low-drag stuff. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. I want every instructor out there that we work with that teaches carbine and advanced shooting and vehicle tactics, I want them all successful, and everyone should be taking classes like that. Those classes should be full all the time. But the reality is we need to get the fundamentals down. And we need to practice those fundamentals. And people need to be taking these classes on the fundamentals. And then once they have said fundamentals, advance yourself to those more advanced things. And then you'll actually learn something. Because when you go take a carbine class and you've never shot a carbine, it's like, then why would you go take a pistol class that's advanced? Because your ego? Mm-hmm. How about you take that basic class and maybe take it again and watch our videos. And watch every video we have that's basic. And then go to that intermediate level class or that advanced level class. And then hone your skills. And after you've done that advanced class, guess what you're going to be doing? The fundamentals.
Fundamentals, yeah.
It always goes back to the fundamentals.
And that's like for me, I don't label my classes. They're War HOGG pistol. Or maybe it's War HOGG concealed carry. Or maybe it's War HOGG red dot or War HOGG carbine or whatever. Mm-hmm. Because how do you sit there and go, because I've battled with people, well, I'm not a basic shooter. It's good for everybody, so there's no, hey, basic, intermediate, advanced. Trust me, anyone that comes out to the class, doesn't matter your shooting ability, you're going to get better.
Absolutely.
But I think, I got it from a marketing standpoint. People are going, hey, pistol 101, 102. Okay, maybe you're doing nuances in there. That's fine if you've got your description laid out. But how do you sit there and go, all right, Fernando, advanced, intermediate shoot. What's that? Right. What's the standard?
Right.
Your standard might be different than mine.
Absolutely.
So if I sit there and go, all right, we're going to do a War HOGG intermediate soul crusher.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to bring out my brute force bags and I'm going to sit there and have you put your lunch up by the side of the range and crush your soul. I thought this was intermediate. Yeah. I didn't sign up for this.
Right. Well, no, it's true.
It's true. So that's why, I try to go, hey, here's where we're at. Good for all shooters. And at least for me, and I think, Mark, you're in the same boat, just negate basic, advanced, intermediate, because there's no standard per se, at least from my opinion.
No, so I get it. And there's what is your basic, intermediate, advanced is going to be different to another instructor, and it's going to be different to that student.
Yeah.
Because everyone thinks they're advanced.
100%.
You know, even when they come in here, I've never shot this gun before. But then let's get you basic skills. Well, but I'm not basic.
I've been shooting all my life.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, my dad taught me when I was a young kid. And how many times have you shot since then? Twice. You know, come on now. Come on. I mean, that is the nature of the beast. That is what we live in today. And I think it's always going to be like that because of egos. Everyone wants to be that rock star.
Yep.
And people don't understand that you have to pay your dues. You have to get trigger time.
Yep.
You got to practice. You have to be made to understand that you may suck. And you must suck before you get better. And as you get better, if you don't practice enough, you're going to start sucking again. Because it is a perishable skill.
Yeah.
You know?
And you got to push yourself. Because too often I see guys are in the comfort zone. So it's like, all right, you know, how many guys, if we were to look back there at the range, you know, we got bulls up there. How'd we finish off the day? You know, 25-meter bull slow fire. Granted, that was nice today. I let him use both hands, you know, see what tomorrow has in store. You know, but the point being is, you know, guys, again, it's that mental mind crush of taking distance. Man, we're going to shoot this thing from 25? I don't know.
Yeah.
If you got the fundamentals, trust me, the shots will be there. So
Absolutely.
yeah, cool. Well, you know, I got to say, Fernando, I appreciate it, man. Great conversation as always. Great to be down here at Panteao. You know, for the listeners, viewers, they can catch you where? Is it Panteao.com?
Yep, at Panteao.com. They can go to Panteao.com and check out our library of videos, our instructors. They can see free content. We actually have free content. We have very basic introductions to firearms and cleaning and lots of pro tips that people can watch for free. And if they like what they see, they can sign up for a subscription. They can get a monthly, a yearly. They can go with commercials or without commercials. And then from there, they can start to educate themselves and, you know, better their skill set and give me more reasons to film more videos.
There you go.
You know?
And don't be afraid of the DVDs.
DVDs are good things. They don't bite. They're good.
Yeah.
You know, I actually have customers that'll have a subscription, but then they'll buy specific instructors because they want to own those. And I'm guilty of it. I have a library of I don't know how many hundreds of movies on 4K Blu-ray, and DVD. You know, when it's something you like, you know, people forget. You see something on like Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever, and everyone's into digital now. So you want to watch a movie. Oh, why would I own it? It's out there digitally.
Yeah.
Yeah, motherfucker. It's there digitally until the license isn't paid, and then it ain't out there anymore. So if you want to watch Grosse Point Blank with John Cusack, and then like a year later, let me go find it. It was on Netflix. Oh, shit, it's not on Netflix anymore. Oh, it was on Hulu. No, it's not on Hulu anymore. Guess what? It ain't anywhere anymore. But it's on Blu-ray.
That's right.
You know, so there's something to be said about having a library that you can always go back to. And yeah, we keep our entire video library of our content out there, and it's full. So you could always watch our stuff. But there is merit to actually having it on disc, putting it in that recorder and or that player and watching it.
Yeah.
You know, especially during times like this when everyone's stuck at home. Don't binge watch Netflix. You know, learn how to fucking shoot.
There you go.
You know?
Boom.
What am I...
But learn how to shoot. Mic drop. Boom. Fernando out. I mean, spot on.
We'll put everything in the show notes, and we'll put links so everybody can get to that stuff. And Rick's been talking you up, and it was a pleasure.
Thank
meeting
you.
You did not disappoint, and everything he said is true, and we really appreciate you doing the show with us to that.
No,
Really
glad to do it. Now we get to go have some food and bourbon.
Boom. There it is.
That's it.
Fernando out. Mic drop. All right, buddy. Thanks, Fernando.
Thank you.